Psalm 1:1, the no contact verse. Isn't it amazing? The very first words of the book of Psalms, the divinely inspired prayer book of Israel, declares blessing for the one who goes no contact with the ungodly, the sinner, and the scornful. The man or woman who refuses to receive counsel from, or refuses to stand with, refuses to walk with, and refuses to sit with certain individuals is called blessed by none other than God Himself. I'd like to take a closer look at those the Spirit of Truth deems the ungodly, the sinner, and the scornful. I believe an accurate and thorough examination of Psalm 1:1 will reveal the people we would do well to avoid are none other than those the modern world refers to as malignant narcissists. For the purpose of this study, I will refer to John Gill's monumental work, Exposition of the Old and New Testaments, and zero in on his exposition of Psalm chapter 1, verse 1. Specifically, a defining of the ungodly man, scornful man, and sinner. John Gill was an English Baptist pastor, a biblical scholar, and a theologian of the 18th century. By the age of 12, Gill was proficient in Latin and Greek and was entering into the study of Hebrew. He pastored for over 50 years at the Baptist church that would later become the Metropolitan Tabernacle, pastored by Charles Spurgeon. He is considered one of the great Hebrew scholars ever to adorn the Christian scene. And his greatest work is certainly the monumental exposition of the Old and New Testament, that is, dealing with every single word in the Bible. No other Christian writer has ever succeeded in such a task before or since, and it is this work that we will be looking at for this study. I would like you to note how closely Gill's understanding of the personality types we have been instructed to avoid in Psalm 1:1 match our modern day understanding of narcissistic personality disorder. Bear in mind what we are about to read was written 300 years ago. The ungodly. All men are by nature ungodly. All men practice ungodliness. And all men are without the true knowledge, fear, and worship of God. All men are at enmity against God. It is a character that belongs to God's elect, as well as others, while in a state of nature. But here the word ungodly describes not so much such who are wicked in heart and life, in common only. Here the word ungodly describes the reprobate part of mankind. The word ungodly describes the profligate part of mankind. The word profligate means to be grossly self-indulgent, to have a complete disregard of rules pertaining to others' personal boundaries, lacking moral restraints, an extreme sense of entitlement, including sexually. Here, the word ungodly describes abandoned sinners for whom the law is made and against whom it lies. The word ungodly here used signifies such who are restless and such who are continually in mischief. The word ungodly here used signifies such who are like the troubled sea, which cannot rest, ever casting up mire and dirt. The ungodly are always disquieted themselves and are ever disquieting others. Nor do they cease from disquieting until they are laid in their graves. The word disquiet means to destroy or impair one's capacity for collected thought or decisive action. It means to take away the peace or the tranquility of, to disturb, to make anxious, to alarm. Such are wise and prudent in natural and civil things, but such are wise to do evil. Though to do good they have no knowledge. They act deliberately in sinning. They cast about in their minds and form schemes and contrive ways and means how to accomplish their vicious purposes. Sometimes they enter into a confederacy and consult together with one consent. The sum of their counsel is to cast off the fear and the worship of God. Now we will look at John Gill's commentary on the word sinners in Psalm 1:1. All men are sinners through Adam's disobedience. All men are sinners through their own actual transgressions. Such were the elect of God when Christ died for them, and indeed are so after conversion, for no man lives without sin. But here it intends notorious sinners who are open, bold, and even daring in iniquity. The word sinner signifies such who proceed from evil to evil, who choose their own ways, and who delight in their abominations. Their way is their sinful course of life. Their way is a way of darkness, a crooked path, a road that leads to destruction and death. The scornful, by whom may be meant proud and haughty persons, in opposition to the humble and lowly. Such who are proud of their natural abilities, knowledge, and wisdom. Such who are proud of their honors and riches, or of their own righteousness, and despise others. Such who are desperate in wickedness, of whom there is no hope. Can you see the darkened moral nature of the man to avoid in Psalm 1:1? Are you able to gather a sense of the corruption and the depravity residing in the heart of the ungodly man described therein? And do you recognize the disordered personality of the scornful man? Can you relate to it? As the victim of overt and covert narcissistic abuse, and as one who has devoted much time in the study of NPD, I am quite confident the man described by David in the very first verse of the book of Psalms is a malignant narcissist. And I believe John Gill's exposition of the verse validates my stance. God does not expect you to maintain relations of any kind with an abuser. It matters not if the abuser is a parent, a spouse, an uncle, an aunt, a child, a cousin, a pastor, or a priest. No, it is God's will for you to sever ties with any and all malignant, abusive personalities. They are demonic, they are dangerous, they are the antithesis of who God is and who He created you to be. They will eventually destroy you if you persist in maintaining contact with them. Obey Psalm 1:1. You will be blessed if you do.